Ladies and gentlemen, it's time. It's time to talk about the future play coming from the team out east in the Milwaukee Bucks. Before that, let's take a blast to the past. For 6 straight years, the Bucks have been number 1 in the East, made it to the NBA Finals in 2021 with a victory over the Phoenix Suns during the time under Mike Budenholzer. But after losing in the semifinals and first round the year after, the front office let Bud go. They then brought in head coach Adrian Griffin, who brought the Bucks to a 30-13 record before being let go for some odd reason and replaced by Doc Rivers, who finished that season 17-19. To add on to that, the Bucks lost to the Miami Heat in the first round of the playoffs, even after acquiring future Hall of Famer Damian Lillard. But the Bucks were without Giannis for some games. Going into this season, the Bucks have had big expectations, and so has the franchise player, as he has made some intriguing quotes leading up to and throughout the season. Before this new 2024-2025 season, the Bucks made a few pickups, drafting guard AJ Johnson and picking up a pair of Lakers in Taurean Prince and Mr. Hands in His Pants Darvin Ham, who seem to have a very good connection, which now leads us into the start of this NBA season. The Bucks, as of now, are 2-7. Starting off the season beating the Embiid and PG-less 76ers and losing 5 games in a row, even with Giannis averaging 31, 13, and 6, and Dame with 28, 4, and 7. As of now, they have less wins than the Detroit Pistons, Wizards, and Hornets. Ranked 13th in the East under Doc Rivers, a lot of people have had their fair share of words for this team with high expectations. So it's time for us to throw in our 2 cents and talk about the problem going on in Milwaukee. But before we get into the video, make sure to hit that like button and make sure to hit the subscribe button, as we are on the road to 10K subs, and comment what you think is the problem in Milwaukee. So Mal, I know you have been anticipating this video. With the Bucks' continuous failures under head coach Doc Rivers, what does the future look like for the Milwaukee Bucks?
Yeah, man, the future is relatively bleak. I'm not really surprised with what I'm seeing. I feel like at this point, we have to be honest. I know I say that a lot, but we need to be honest. A lot of niggas need to be held accountable. And one thing I see with a lot of media coverage with NBA is niggas pick and choose who they want to hold accountable and who they want to give constructive criticism to. Giannis Antetokounmpo has not been great from a leadership perspective. I'm just seeing a nigga that's padding the stats. You look at the stats, I mean, the stats are phenomenal. 31 points a game, 13 rebounds. Like, it's great. It's great. Damian Lillard, same thing. He's averaging 28 points, 4.5 rebounds, 6 assists. It's fine, but I am not impressed because when it comes to a Giannis Antetokounmpo, multi-time MVP, Finals MVP, All NBA first team, he has all the accolades. But if we want to keep it a bean and just look at his track record, since 2021, what has he done? I can ramble off the thing that he has done. He's gotten a few coaches fired. You know what I'm saying? Niggas have had success. And for whatever reason, Giannis doesn't want to make it work. Only wants to give a man 43 games as a head coach. And then you want to get Doc Rivers? Doc freaking Rivers. You want him as your coach. But anyway, I think that Giannis's leadership needs to be put into question. I'm hearing things about how him and Damian Lillard don't have the chemistry. And I'm like, well, you played with the man over 1 season. What is the problem? Now, that's a situation that involves not only Giannis, but Dame, who I have been saying this ad nauseum, not on this platform, but I think that Damian Lillard is an overrated player, not a winning player. Phenomenal talent, can score a lot of points, but he plays no defense and he makes nobody better. So it makes sense as to why they're having chemistry issues, but this is something that you, Giannis, you need to alter your game, and you need to, I guess, work with Damian Lillard in the offseason or practice or do something. There's no reason why your number 1 and number 2 should have no chemistry. It's been a full season. Can we get the shit together? Giannis's leadership has to be held accountable. I'm hearing rumblings about you may request a trade, you're doing this and doing that. You got to step up and get the shit done. Because one thing that I'm seeing over the last few seasons is that they're getting bounced out of the first round. Giannis gets some little weak ass injury and he's out. I mean, I'm not going to say that the man is faking his injuries, but it just seems a little too coincidental. That's that part of it. So their star player, he has leadership issues that are in question. He also hasn't really done much to improve his game. We all know what his flaws are. His flaws have been his flaws for the entirety of his career. So not sold on that. The number 2 is an over-the-top player. I don't care what the numbers say. Damian Lillard does not impact winning at all. He does not. So you got that problem. The team is old. This is an old hobbled team. So they're not surrounded with requisite talent. And the coach, I don't even know why he's still coaching. Why the hell does Doc Rivers continue to get a job? I'm not understanding. He should have stayed on the sidelines with his ashy ass voice commentating on those games. I mean, he really can't even do that well, but he can't coach either. So I'm not understanding what the Milwaukee Bucks organization is doing. To my viewpoint, it looks like they're just trying to do whatever they can to make Giannis happy, because one thing, and we may need to do a video on this in the near future, but the players are really destroying the league, and the commissioner has allowed it to happen. They have entirely too much power. So the franchises are going to do whatever that player says to make that said player happy, because in these small markets like Milwaukee, Memphis, San Antonio, the traction that they're bringing is the star player. Nobody else is coming to those games unless that star player is there. That's their selling point. The Milwaukee Bucks, if Giannis leaves, what do they have? Nothing. And niggas is not going to be going to those games. They'll end up like one of those, Detroit Piston-esque teams. So they have to keep Giannis happy. Giannis, you're getting everything that you want, sir. I don't know what else that they can give to you. You lost to Drew Holiday. You strengthened the Boston Celtics. Now them niggas over there, they looking like a dynasty. So the Milwaukee Bucks are done. Giannis is, if they continue spiraling the way that they are downwardly, he'll probably end up asking for some type of trade. And quite frankly, I don't give a fuck what happens with the remainder of his career. I'm seeing the guy, he has all of these lame ass comments where he's saying that this guy is the best player and this guy and this guy. And I'm like, let's talk about what you're doing. You're trying to obfuscate what's actually going on with your career. You need to be better, point blank, period. And I'm tired of niggas giving guys like Giannis and Dame excuses because we like them. No, they got to get the shit done. There's no difference between Giannis and these other guys that are moving from team to team to team and becoming problems in their locker room. He is becoming a problem. He has gotten everything that he's wanted, and the reason why they have a 2-8 record solely is on him, as well as problems that we should have known were already going to be problems, a la Doc Rivers' shit-ass coaching and Damian Lillard being an old 34 that plays no defense, is an over-the-top point guard that has no point guard capabilities or qualities. So I don't really know what you guys were expecting the Bucks to be this season. I think I probably had them in a play-in or, making the playoffs, but getting bounced out in the first round once again, because I have not seen otherwise that they can be a winning team with this type of leadership.
Yeah, the Milwaukee Bucks, they're in arguably the worst situation in NBA basketball as of now. They're sitting at, I believe, 2-7 as we record this, and it's been pretty bad all the way through. Now, I will say this: it hasn't been all on Giannis. It hasn't been all on Damian Lillard. But this roster just like isn't good, top to bottom. Now, we'll start with the coaching. Like, we know who Doc Rivers is at this point, at this juncture in his career. He's not a coach that's going to win you a championship unless you have like a crazy amount of talent, when you're not depending on your coach to really help you out. And I think Giannis has failed his team from a leadership standpoint. I think he's amassed a pretty big ego kind of after probably the 2022 season when they got rid of Drew Holiday. I think he amassed ego. And last season, I want to admit this, they were 30-13 last year before they fired their coach, Adrian Griffin. Can we get back to that success? Now, I do understand the reason why they fired him is because their star player really didn't have a good relationship with Adrian Griffin. But really, there wasn't much last season that they were bad at in the beginning of the season for them to be like, okay, we're gonna get rid of Adrian Griffin. It made no sense to me at the time. The team was sitting on the second seed. They probably would have won north for about 58, 59 games, and they would have looked pretty good in the postseason. But then they just fired their coach because Giannis has gotten such a big ego that it's kind of hurt his relationships that he's been developing on the team. Now, second thing I would say, Damian Lillard has not been good. Now, the stats do look good. I think he is, I believe, 10th on the MVP voting right now, which is absurd because the record is so bad that you shouldn't even be looking at the stats. And I honestly shouldn't take that seriously too, because Nikola Vucevic is on the list. So I'm not going to take it seriously, but he is top 10. The man doesn't know how to run a pick and roll. I don't know what it is. He's just not a point guard. Like, you see him when he gets a high ball screen from Brook Lopez, he's automatically thinking shoot first because he's a shoot first, kind of guard. But then, when he's like running pick and roll with Giannis, it's like he's not really comfortable and he's very, very indecisive. Like, he wants to pass Giannis the ball early, And Giannis isn't the type of guy where you want to pass him the ball early to kind of make a move and, you know.
I'm going to cut you off, but do you recall before Damian Lillard had got traded to the Bucks and they were talking about this Dame Giannis pick and roll?
Yeah, that's the thing. The pick and roll hasn't looked good. It's crazy to me because people are comparing this pick and roll to a hypothetical version of Shaq and Steph Curry. And it was so crazy to me. It was like, I don't get it. Damian Lillard has never really been known for his passing, his playmaking. Yeah, I was like, okay, this dude doesn't really know how to run pick and roll. It's crazy. Like, I've never seen anything like it. This dude is going on 12 years. He's a veteran in the league, and he doesn't know how to run pick and roll. Like, he's very, very incisive. He doesn't know how to make a pocket pass. He don't know how to slip it. It's bad, man. And that's them too. I'm gonna talk about the rest of the roster. The rest of the roster is buns. Complete, absolute buns. Let me start with Brook Lopez. Brook Lopez is shooting so many threes and breaking so many threes, and he keeps on shooting so many threes. I don't get it. I don't know if he thinks he's Dirk Nowitzki from three. I don't know what it is. Bobby Portis is over here taking fadeaway jumpers like he's Kobe. Like he's Kobe in the middle of the offense. And Giannis and Dame, they look cool with it. You have Giannis and Dame sitting in the corner watching him take these shots. They're not getting involved in any of the action. They're not getting involved in off-ball play, slipping screens. They're just watching him take these shots, these bad shots. It's not a winning formula to me. Their bench is thin. Pat Connaughton hasn't been playing good ball. Gary Trent Jr., he hasn't really been that good. Many people were telling me this is going to be a super team with the way they got him, and they still have Middleton, which Middleton is still hurt. From the looks of it, I think Middleton, his best years are way behind him. He's not the same player he used to be, where he was going band for band with Devin Booker in the finals. He's not that player anymore. This team overall just a clusterfuck. They're just not good whatsoever. The point of attack defense is terrible. Damian Lillard, he might be a worse perimeter defender than Trae Young. He might be the worst perimeter defender in the league. He's that bad. Just doesn't know what to do. He doesn't get his hands on any balls. He's not sending ball pressure. He's not active. He's not active at all. And I have to get on Giannis too for his defense. Giannis has not been the defensive player of the year he was 4 years ago. He has not been that player anymore. I don't think Giannis has been a really great defender in the last couple of years. Giannis has been pretty good. I don't think he's been that great. There's so many issues going wrong with this team. The defense is so bad and the offense is so bad. It's like watching the New York Jets play basketball. Like there was a basketball team. That's my equivalent of how bad they look. I honestly want to watch the Jets play football than the Bucks run pick and roll. I'm calling for Doc Rivers' job on the air right now. I think it's kind of poetic, him and Darvin Ham on the same roster. And Darvin Ham has his little cutesy boy and Taurean Prince on the roster. But overall, this is not a contending team. They will be getting bounced out in the first round of playoffs if they make it with the way the East has been looking. I don't see them beating the top 4 teams in the East at all. I don't even see this team beating the Orlando Magic if they face them in the playoffs. So it's over. Goodbye, good riddance. People were telling me Giannis was a better player than Jokic. Stay on that side, please. It's not looking like he's going to outrank them all time. And I have no more to say after this.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to go ahead and start off by saying something that Baron Davis did say about head coach Doc Rivers. A Doc Rivers team is a beatable team. I don't give a F how much talent they got. Now that statement is very true. Every time I talk about, the whole Adrian Griffin and Doc Rivers situation, it just makes me scratch my head every single time. Now I do get it. The players didn't really have the biggest connection with the head coach, and they were at the 3rd seed, which I guess, it wasn't enough for them. And they thought Doc Rivers was going to bring them up to the 1 seed. I don't really see what these guys are seeing in Doc Rivers, because Doc Rivers has literally only won one thing in his entire coaching career. I don't see how he is a great coach. He literally won that one championship in Boston, and all of a sudden he's been a great coach ever since. He hasn't done anything after that ever since. He's 6-10 when it comes to Game 7 records. He's lost I don't know how many 3-1 leads. Dog, this is a losing coach, and yet guys are just banging on the door for him. I don't see it. And as far as this Milwaukee Bucks team, I figured there was going to be a problem with it once they got rid of Drew Holiday. He lost a great defender. He's going to shoot the ball. He's going to move the ball. And, we just give that up for Dame Lillard, who everybody thought this pick and roll was finna be legendary. Like the guy said, Dame, he's never been known for pick and rolls. So I don't see where all that hype is coming from. And as far as defense, when I got Brook Lopez in my interior, he's slow as dirt. And when you have your 2 stars scoring this much points, and y'all are still losing games like constantly. These folks have been getting beat left and right, and then they're losing by a lot. And then you look at, the minutes. We got Torian Prince, 28 minutes, 7 points. Gary Trent Jr., 27 minutes, 7 points. I'm not seeing it. It's really not adding up for this Bucks team. I don't really see them going nowhere. Like, they're cooked for sure. They're definitely cooked. If they match up, in the first round, whoever they match up against, if it's Boston, the Cavs, Orlando, New York, 76ers make the playoffs, it's wraps. Coming into this season, I had them at probably like the 4th or 5th seed. I was thinking, okay, Giannis was hurt last series, but no, there's no hope for this team. Giannis, either he's going to leave or they're going to get a trade. Like Brian Windhorst, he did say not that long ago, he just said that Milwaukee was looking to make a trade. Okay, that's not going to move me. You can bring all the pieces, on that team. But when Doc Rivers is your head coach, and then you got Darvin Ham on the staff too, you're not winning anything. You got LeBron James, KD, and Steph Curry on that team. They're not winning a championship. Like, it's that bad. He's that bad of a coach. I can't stand seeing Doc Rivers sitting on the sideline as a head coach in the NBA anymore. I'm tired of seeing it. I am tired of seeing it. He doesn't need a job because he can't win. He can't win. I just can't take this serious. And then Giannis with all these like cryptic quotes and stuff. It's like, dude, he's talking about some if I don't win soon, they gonna trade me. Like,
ain't nobody trying to hear that shit, man. I'm so sick of this nigga.
It just doesn't make any sense to me, man. Like, you're supposed to be the franchise dude, and you want to talk about some if I don't win, they finna trade me. Like, not that long ago, this was the dude that was trying to go to Golden State. Dame, he'll probably leave and go back to Portland. He already said he was gonna go back to Portland. This franchise is cooked.
Can we revisit something? You said something I thought was very, very interesting about the one Damian Lillard. Did you say that and granted, the NBA is becoming a washed product, so I haven't been paying too much attention to what's been going on outside of the key games. But did you say that he said he wants to go back to Portland?
Yeah, he did say at some part towards the end of his career, like at some point he would go back to Portland.
Okay, so we hit on Giannis, we hit on Doc Rivers, we touched on Dame. Pause. I think we really need to pinpoint some focus, some light, man, shine some light on Damian Lillard. Nigga, you can go back to Portland right now. Damian Lillard is not a winning player. I have been saying this for a while now. I lost respect for this guy. He had his opportunity in 2019. I heard for the longest period of time, really after Steph won his MVPs, that, oh man, Dame, he can go band for band with Steph in terms of best point guard. He had his opportunity in 2019 when Mr. Kevin Durant got injured in the Western Conference Finals. They got swept. They had leads going into the fourth quarter or going into the second half, I believe. In every single one of those games, he got outplayed drastically by one Stephen Curry. After that, I don't want to hear anything from Damian Lillard because he used to make arguments all the time about, well, if I was on the Golden State, if I had a super team like that, I would do blah, 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 blah. Now it's your time to show how great of a player you are, and you came up short. And since then, he has had little to no playoff success at all. When he came to Milwaukee, what we're seeing is exactly what I thought he was going to be. I don't care what people think, and this may be an outlandish take to some, but I feel very, very confident and profound in what I'm about to say. In your prime, you have a Damian Lillard, you have a Jrue Holiday. If I want to win a championship, I want Jrue Holiday on my team before Damian Lillard. I'm sorry, because Jrue Holiday at his peak, probably a top 3 defender in the league, and he could give me 20 on any given night in the postseason. Damian Lillard, yeah, he can give me 25 to 30. The ball is in his hands the entire game, but he's not going to make anybody better offensively on that team. And he's going to be one of the worst defenders in the league. Like, he's going to be one of the worst defenders in the league, regardless of position. Him and Giannis, I'm surprised that they don't have better chemistry because they're a lot alike in terms of the way that they talk about themselves and the way that they talk about how people view them. It's all this cryptic messaging, like, I'm really trying to win. I want to stay here my entire career. But if they don't do blah, 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 then this, and that. Bro, leave. Please leave. Because you're not helping me win. So Damian Lillard, go back to Portland. Go make your money. Go put up your empty stats. And that's fine. Like, I don't need to see Damian Lillard win a championship. For what? Everybody can't be a champion. And everybody is not made to be a champion. Damian Lillard is not a championship winning player. He's not. And at this point, I don't know if Giannis is either. When I look at the Milwaukee Bucks, and I think we've kind of alluded to this, I just see a bunch of individuals playing for themselves. I don't see a team. And a lot of that has to do with coaching, but a lot of that has to do with your two best players setting the tone. And it's all about, if I'm Giannis, I'm going to get my 30 and my 13 rebounds. If I'm Dame, I'm trying to get my 25 to 28. It just looks like guys that are just putting up empty calories. They getting fat on those points and rebounds. They fat as shit. I'm done with the Milwaukee Bucks. Hopefully we don't have to make another video about them for the remainder of the season. They're not worth it.